Hello everyone. Welcome to a new series of video lectures on voltage time base generators. For the time being, just remember that voltage time base generators are used in many electronic systems like cathode ray oscilloscopes, television receivers, sweep generators, etc. etc. spectrum analyzers, and all these things. So, we will discuss the real applications later, but to understand this lecture, please remember just one point, that is, the objective of designing a voltage time base generator is to make a circuit that will give an output which is voltage on the y axis and time on the x axis in such a manner that the voltage increases linearly with time. So, like this, the voltage will increase linearly with the time. Okay. Now, a much more complete definition is the voltage must increase linearly with time for some duration, and after a particular duration it must again come back to the original state, maybe 0 or negative, in a shorter duration. So, this is called, from here to here we call this time as the trace time. So, we will call it as a TR, or this is called as a scan time, whereas or the trace time, and from this point to this point the time taken we will call it as the retrace times. The trace and retrace, or scan and retrace. The most important point to remember here is that the time taken for scanning from this time to this time, that is the increase of the voltage, first thing is it must be linear and it must be longer in duration compared to the retrace time. The retrace also must make sure that it will fall from the highest value to the lowest value in the quickest possible time. So, we will discuss the specific applications of all these things in the another video called applications. For the time being, just remember our objective is to generate a voltage which is, now you look at this point, generate a voltage which is proportional to the time. So, voltage is proportional to time. So, I will make an arrow here. I forgot to make the arrow for pointing the topic which I am going to explain. So, we will use the arrow now. So, you can see here our objective is to generate a voltage which is a function of time, and it is linear. It is a linear variation with time. Now, we know very well that there is a application using a capacitor wherein we can define the voltage current relationship in such a way that Vt is equal to 1 by C integral It dt. That means whatever may be the current, the integral of that current divided by the value of the capacitance will give me the time varying voltage. Now, I want this voltage to be proportional to the time. So, how can it be proportional to the time? It is possible when we are able to make this current flowing through the capacitor a constant. Okay, remember that point. The current flowing through the capacitor must be constant with the time. Only then the voltage will be proportional to the time. See, when It is constant, it will come out of the integral. So, this will become a constant here, constant divided by constant, that is a constant, we will call it as K integral dt. What is integral dt? Integral dt is T. Of course, there may be some other constant here, but that is the initial value of the voltage. But essentially, if you are able to maintain the current at constant value, the voltage will remain constant for whatever duration the capacitor is charging. Okay. Now for discharge also you can make it the reverse value. So please remember that the voltage to be proportional to time, the current must be constant with time. So that is the condition. Okay. Now what do we have in our hand? We have a capacitor. Now what did we learn about the capacitor till now? We learned that when a capacitor is connected to a supply voltage called VCC through a resistor R, then the voltage across the capacitor, which we are calling as Vt, will be increasing with time in this manner. That means the voltage across the capacitor Vt will be equal to Vcc into 1 minus e to the power of minus t by Rc, where R and C are, Rc is the time constant of this circuit. Now what does this equation indicate? The equation here indicates some important points that we can observe here. So what are these points? The first point is the voltage of course increases with the time. Okay, and the supply voltage is a constant. Supply voltage VCC is a constant, you can see here. This is the second point. The first point is the voltage increases with time. How does it increase? It increases in a exponential manner like this. So it increases fast initially, but rate of increase will fall as the time increases. So because of this reason, the voltage at one end of the resistor is constant, at the other end of the resistor it is increasing with time. So progressively we will observe that the voltage across the resistor will be coming down. What is the voltage across the resistor? The voltage across the resistor is equal to the voltage, supply voltage VCC here, which I am calling as V. V minus Vt is the voltage across the resistor. So Vt is increasing, V is constant. Okay. So the delta IT, the rate, the small incremental increase in the current across the resistor is decreasing with time. Okay. So because V minus Vt is decreasing, so V minus Vt by R has to decrease. The current is decreasing. When the current decreases, what happens? The incremental increase in the voltage also will be reducing with time. So we are getting a voltage variation across the capacitor which is not linear, which is not a straight line. See, actually what I want is a straight line from here to here, but it is becoming an exponential waveform. So this is the problem. So by taking the old circuit of a resistor and a capacitor, we are encountering a practical problem of not being able to generate a linear voltage across the capacitor. Okay. Now this RC circuit basically works like our toilet flush tank. Okay. How does a flush tank work? Initially the water is stored in the tank, in the capacitor, charge is stored, and suddenly if I short this capacitor, if I open the valve of the flush tank, the entire water will be flushing the WC. Similarly, the charge will be discharged. That means whenever I open the switch here, the capacitor will charge to VCC. Whenever I close the switch, the capacitor will be discharging through a switch. Just remember that point. So when I open the switch across the capacitor, it will be scanning or providing the trace. Whenever I close it, it will be providing the retrace. So that we will discuss in another video. But our main focus in this lecture is how do we make the voltage across the capacitor increase linearly with time, while the actual variation is exponential like this. How can we change this into a linear waveform? That is our objective. Okay. Now the simple answer to that is make the current flowing through the resistor constant. Make the current flowing through the resistor constant. If the resistor current is constant, capacitor current is also constant. So naturally voltage across the capacitor will be linearly increasing with time. Okay. So for that, how do we make the current constant? That's the question. Now we make the current constant by ensuring that the difference in the voltages between this node VA and this node VB is always a constant, okay. But we know that this is a constant voltage, VCC is constant and this is increasing. So the difference has to be reducing. So how can we make it constant? We can't make just like that, no. So there is one method for that. That method which we are going to use is called, one method is called as the bootstrap circuit. So bootstrap circuit is what we are going to study in the coming stages. Now the basic point here is, look at this small graph. This is VCC and this is the voltage across the capacitor. We know that the voltage across the capacitor is constant, voltage at supply voltage is constant VCC, and the voltage across the capacitor is increasing linearly with time. So what is happening to the difference? VA minus VB is here, initially it is large and later on it is small. Okay, we don't want this, we want the difference to be same initially and also any time, any given time. So we can do that by somehow, some way changing this VA, the voltage at VA here, not VCC but VCC plus the voltage across the capacitor. How we do that is the challenge. So if we are able to somehow make the voltage at this end of the resistor equal to VCC plus VT, that means VT is a time varying voltage and the voltage at the capacitor is equal to VT, then what will happen? The voltage across the capacitor will be increasing as VT exponentially, no doubt, and the voltage at the other end of the resistor will be increasing VCC plus VT. That means whatever changes are happening at this end of the resistor, the same changes are reflected at the other end of the resistor. Then what will be the difference? Difference will always be VCC plus VT minus VT. Okay, so the difference will always be equal to VCC. That is how we can make the voltage across the resistor constant. Then once the voltage across the resistor is constant, naturally the current will be constant and the constant current will flow through capacitor. The voltage across the capacitor will be linearly increasing with the time. So this is the basic idea. Now idea is one thing, but how do we implement the idea? How do we make this idea work? We can't simply take this point VT and connect to this point, because we want this to be VCC plus VT. If we connect directly, what will happen? This will short the resistor. Resistor will not be there at all. So without shorting the capacitor node to the supply voltage, we must somehow make sure that this VT is getting added at this node. Now a very good method of doing this is to physically, electrically separate the 2 points. That means this node and this node must be separated. This node should not load this node. At the same time, whatever voltage is changing here, that voltage must add to the voltage here. Now how do we do that? We do that by using a circuit which we studied in EDC called as a common collector or emitter follower or buffer. So we use a circuit like this. What is this circuit? This is called as a buffer or common collector or common collector circuit or emitter follower. Okay, emitter follower. So what is the property of this circuit? The property of this circuit is the input impedance is very large, so whatever point you connect this emitter to, emitter is connected to some point V0, this V0 will not load Vi, V0 will not load Vi. At the same time, if Vi increases, then V0 will increase by 0.7 times. The base emitter difference is there. So this is the only difference. So Vi minus V0 will always be 0.7, and when Vi increases, V0 will increase. When Vi decreases, V0 will decrease by the same voltage, no difference. So that is the advantage of a buffer. So this circuit we can use to make sure that the voltage variation at the capacitor is reflected at the other end of the resistor. Okay. So now we have the conventional RC circuit, now we have the buffer. Now these two we must connect, So how do we connect? Now we have to make sure we are connecting it properly. Now remember RC circuit, we have taken the RC circuit here, this same circuit is there, you can see this portion is the RC circuit. This common point, this common junction has the voltage has to be connected to this end. Now how do we connect to this end? We don't connect directly. First we connected the buffer. Okay. Now the buffer is having a collector voltage of VCC, then emitter follower, no, we need a emitter resistor. This emitter resistor we are biasing in such a way that this is connected to the negative voltage. So obviously the base emitter junction will be forward biased. So even if this is 0, this is negative, this is forward biased. So it will act like an amplifier. So this is whatever voltage is available at the base, that same voltage will be available at the emitter. Okay. Now first part is over. At the same time, these two are not directly connected, they are not loaded. So now what we do next is, we must connect this point to this node. Okay. Now how do we connect this emitter to this node? We need to take some precautions. That is, we will try to not correct directly this point, because this is DC voltage. Okay. Now this DC voltage must add to the time varying voltage. So if we connect directly, it will not happen, because this is a DC voltage. So we will use a diode. Such that the diode will allow current to flow in one direction, not in the opposite direction. So we are using a diode here. Now our job is to connect this V0 to the junction of diode and resistor. This is the point where we actually want to connect. Okay. Now we can connect directly, no problem. So when we connect directly, what happens here is, there will be one small problem. That problem is, see, whenever we are trying to charge the capacitor, okay, now this point is initially 0, no? This point is initially 0. So obviously this point also will be 0. So when I connect directly like this point also will be 0. Okay. So we will not be able to show an increase. We will not be able to show the same increase between these 2 points. So we will try to connect a capacitor, a very high value capacitor, between the emitter and the diode and resistor junction, like this. Okay. The function of this high value capacitor is to charge to VCC, because you can see here, when you connect C1 like this, what will happen when this voltage is 0, when the voltage across the capacitor is 0, this voltage is also almost equal to 0. So this point is connected almost to ground, and this capacitor is free to charge through VCC. So it will charge through VCC, and the voltage across the capacitor will be almost equal to the supply voltage. And this supply voltage VCC is almost across the resistor, at the starting point, So this point is VCC, this point is almost equal to 0. Now at the starting point, because this is VCC, diode will be reverse biased. Okay, diode will be reverse biased. So capacitor will start charging. When the moment it is given chance to charge, capacitor will start charging using this capacitance voltage. Whatever voltage is there in this capacitor, which is VCC, it will be increasing. So when the voltage here starts increasing, that same increase will reflect here. Agreed? Okay, and because this is VCC, this point is increasing, this point also will increase because this diode is reverse biased. So the voltage across the resistor will continue to be constant while the voltage here is increasing from 0 to a higher value. That is called as the trace time or scan time. So as long as it is scanning, the voltage here will be increasing with the time. Okay. Now at some point when we are trying to retrace, we can discharge this capacitor and the capacitor will be discharged. This point will come to ground, and again the diode will be forward biased, and this will quickly charge the capacitor for the next cycle of scanning and retrace both. Okay. Now in this lecture I have made it very quick and very simple. Please try to let us try to quickly review what we have done and remember these points for the next lecture. So because I am going to end in a couple of minutes. Now what did we learn in this lecture? The first point is we want to make a voltage increase linearly with time. For that we used an RC circuit which actually capacitor charges exponentially with time. So we realized that unless the voltage across the resistor is kept constant, we cannot have a linear increase. So that point we have seen from the relationship between voltage and current. Now how do we make the voltage increase on both sides with the difference maintained as VCC? So we are using a buffer, okay, or emitter follower. So once we know the purpose of buffer, we connected RC circuit and the buffer. Then to separate the charging and discharging, we are using a diode here, okay, because diode allows only in one direction the current to flow. And after using the diode, when the diode is reverse biased, there is no path for current to flow. No current will flow through resistor when diode is reverse biased. So we are using a capacitor. A large value capacitor will be used to maintain the voltage across the resistor equal to VCC and allow the current to flow and the capacitor to increase its voltage with time. So this basically is our bootstrap sweep circuit. Okay. Now I will develop this circuit into a full blown circuit in the next stage and then stop the video. Now look at this circuit and this circuit, both are same. So here you are having the transistor, okay, which is acting like a buffer, and RC circuit is there. You have the diode to control the direction of the current, and we are connecting the emitter to the junction of diode and resistor through a capacitor C1, which is a large value capacitor, and it will maintain the voltage across the resistor as VCC even when diode is reverse biased. And now who will charge this capacitor and discharge the who will allow the capacitor to charge or discharge? So we always want to use a switch here, okay, because discharge must be done very quickly. So what we did here is, look at this point, remember our multivibrator circuit. We had a resistor in the collector, we had a diode in the collector, LED we had. So we are using the same circuit, diode, resistor, and then we are using a transistor which is connected to a base resistance RB. Now what is this circuit? This circuit is nothing but a switch. Okay. So whenever I give a suddenly falling negative voltage at the input of this capacitor, this base will go to negative, transistor will be cut off. So this switch will be open. So whenever Tg is negative, transistor switch will be open. So capacitor is free to charge. Okay, now it will charge. Then whenever I want it to discharge, this Tg will become positive. Suddenly it will go high. Then transistor will be on. When transistor is on, the capacitor will discharge through the Q1. Okay, so the charging and discharging of the capacitor is controlled by the switch consisting of Q1. Just remember this point. Okay, once you remember this point and try to remember this circuit, then in our next lecture, after reviewing the sweep circuit one more time, we will try to go deep into the analysis of this circuit, which is very interesting. So how the currents are flowing, okay, how this is Tg, you see here, this is nothing but your gate pulse. When the gate pulse is becoming negative, you can see here the sweep will start. This is called as the sweep. The sweep is linearly increasing with time. It's like a straight line. Once it reaches VCC, this is VCC, it will remain at VCC, and whenever this gate becomes positive again, the retrace will start. So it will quickly retrace. So this is the scan time, okay, and this is the duration of the gate, and this is the retrace time. Okay, just remember these points, and all the important formulae we will try to understand them in the next lecture. Okay, so just remember the circuit and these waveforms. Don't be scared about these waveforms. They are very simple to understand, but not in today's lecture, but in the next lecture. So in today's lecture, what are the important points we have to remember? We have to remember how RC circuit will be behaving. Its voltage will change exponentially. Then how to make it linear. Both sides variation must be same, so that difference is constant. So how do we make it possible? We use a buffer. Buffer we use in the way we have shown here. And after, how do we make it a practically workable circuit? So we make it a practically workable circuit by making sure that the diode will take care of the current directions, and then when the diode is reverse biased, this capacitor will take care of supplying the current to this resistor. Okay, if you remember this thing, and the last stage, that switch we are using, transistor as a switch here, then this makes the bootstrap sweep generator. Now why are we calling it as bootstrap sweep generator? If you see any boot, if you want to wear a boot, the boot will have two laces. Okay, two laces. So both these laces you will hold and pull. Okay, that means whenever this lace is going up, the other lace also will go up. So that is why the name is given as bootstrap. Okay, we will discuss more about it in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you very much. God bless you.